Hello. Today I'm going to talk about the youngest state of India, Telangana, and how it has grown since its formation. Here's an overview of the topics I'll be covering in this video. We'll start by the introduction of Telangana, then we'll see the objectives of this project, then we'll see the insights, and then I'll present my recommendations to Telangana government for sustained growth in the next 5 years based on my analysis. So Telangana was born on 2nd June 2014. It is India's 29th and youngest state. Telangana is one of the fastest growing states in India and one of the states with an open data policy. The government of Telangana has collaborated with code bases to identify growth opportunities. Objectives. The primary objectives of this project is to analyze and gain insights from three main datasets: stamps registrations, transportation, and TSI pass. We will understand their attributes, categories, and time periods. We'll analyze trends and patterns within each department to identify growth opportunities and areas needing attention. We'll find correlation among these departments and report the overall growth of the state through insights and relevant visuals. Now to brief you about the data set, this is what these data sets contain. The STAMPS data set contains documents registered count, documents registered revenue, and e-stamps registered count and revenue. Transportation dataset contains vehicle sales by fuel type, the vehicle sales by vehicle class, by seating capacity, and by other categories. The TSI pass dataset contains the sectors and the investments made in each district and the number of employees which were employed. Now let us start by analyzing the revenue generated through document registrations and how it varies across the different districts of Telangana. In the map, you can see a distribution of revenue generated through document registrations in every district. The darker the shade of blue, the higher the revenue in that district. Gray color indicates that there is no data for that district. Here we have the top 5 districts with highest document registration revenue growth between FY 2019 and 2022. Mulugu recorded the highest growth, which was equal to 106%. The other districts are Adilabad, Mechal Malkajgiri, Mancherial, and Mahabudabad. The total revenue generated from document registrations was 268 billion, and it had a growth of 27.3% over the period of 2019 to 2022. I noticed that around 78% of the revenue generated from document registration was being generated by these 4 districts. So let's call them the economic powerhouses. Now let's look at the reasons. The reasons for this could be that because these districts have maximum population as recorded by census in 2011 and they contain various government offices. Hyderabad in particular is home to numerous government offices, corporate headquarters, and multinational companies. These entities often engage in property transactions, lease office spaces, or establish their presence in the city, contributing to higher document registrations. Now let's compare the revenue generated from e-stamps and documents. The distribution of the revenue generated from document registration compared to the revenue generated from e-stamp challans across districts is quite similar. Now let's see the top 5 districts which generate more revenue in e-stamps. E-stamps in Jangaon contributed to 2.48% more than documents in revenue. Other districts are Nirmal, Mancherial, Rangareddy, and Kamareddy. Now let us see if there is any alteration of e-stamp challan count and document registration count pattern since the implementation of e-stamp challans. E-stamp challans were implemented in 2020, and within just 1 year, they surpassed the number of traditional document registrations. Since the introduction of e-stamps, people have opted for e-stamps more than documents. This is because e-stamps provide convenience. With e-stamps, people can electronically complete the procedure rather than using the traditional document registration, which require the need for physical document submission and streamlining procedural efficiency. I would suggest that the government to launch awareness campaigns to educate citizens, businesses, and legal entities about the benefits of e-stamping and the convenience it offers. Increased awareness may encourage people to use e-stamps for their documents. Now I've categorized the districts into three categories on the basis of the revenue they generate through documents and e-stamps. The first group are the high revenue generating districts. These districts contribute to almost 79% of the total revenue. The second group are the moderate revenue generating districts. These districts contribute to 15% of the total revenue. And the next group is the third group, which is the low revenue generating districts. These districts contribute to just 6% of the total revenue. In this map, you can see the distribution of the revenue generated across the district. And you can see that these are quite darker than the rest of the district. Now let us analyze if there is any correlation between vehicle sales and specific months or seasons. In this graph, we can see that the vehicle sales were highest in October and lowest in April and May. Let us dive deeper to understand better. As we can see that every year, the highest sales are always recorded in the month of October. Before I tell you the reason for this, I noticed something else here. In April 2020, a lockdown was enforced in Telangana as a containment measure to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, and similarly, another lockdown was imposed in May 2021 for the same reason. This is the reason why the sales are so low during these months. Now, let us understand why the sales are so high at the time of October. October marks the beginning of the festive season in India. There are many festivals celebrated around that time, like Diwali, Navratri, and Bathukamma, which is a festival in Telangana. During festival, there's a cultural tradition of buying new things, including vehicles, as it is considered auspicious and symbolizes prosperity and good fortune. Many people receive bonuses, incentives, or extra income around. Some encourages people to make big ticket purchases such as vehicles. Automakers and dealerships often launch special promotions and discounts during the festive season to attract buyers. These can include lower interest rates, cashback offers, free accessories, or extended warranties. These incentives make purchasing a vehicle more appealing and affordable. Now let us see how is the distribution of vehicle sales across different districts for different types of vehicles. The gray regions indicate that we have no data for these particular regions. The darker the shade of blue, the higher the sale in that district. The distribution of auto rickshaws appears to be relatively uniform, with a noticeable concentration being observed in the eastern region. For agriculture, it is more concentrated in the southeastern district. Motorcycle sales are spread out across the state, with a notable concentration observed in the northern region of the state. Motorcar sales are also spread out across the state, with the highest concentration occurring in the vicinity of the economic powerhouses. Now let us take a deeper look. Motorcycles are definitely the predominant choice, with 68% of total sales coming from motorcycles. Also, every district's predominant choice is also motorcycles. As we can see that districts with the lowest motorcycles ratio is just 53%. As we noticed earlier, the motor cars sales are highest in Rangareddy, Maitsar Malkajgiri, Sangareddy, and Hyderabad. Now looking at the agriculture ratio, Jayashankar Bhupalpali records 12.74% of vehicle sales in agriculture. The reason for this is because agriculture is the predominant occupation within the state. The second choice for vehicles in Jayashankar Bhupalpali and Jangaon is agriculture vehicles. Now let's look at the other category. Vehicles in the others category might include commercial trucks, bicycles, and construction vehicles. For the others category, Karimnagar records 27.97%. Others categories second preferred choice for vehicles in Karimnagar, Nagar Kurnool, Suryapet, Kumuram Bhim, and some more. Most of the remaining states prefer motor cars as their second choice. Now let us see which districts have had the best growth in vehicle sales during fiscal year 2022 compared to fiscal year 2021 for the categories petrol, diesel, and electric. Here I have listed down the top 3 and bottom 3 districts in each category. The top 3 districts with the most growth in diesel are Karimnagar, Sangareddy, and Rangareddy. Karimnagar has recorded a growth of 111%, and the reason for this could be the fuel prices of diesel were much lower than petrol. The bottom 3 districts are Jangaon, Mahabubabad, and Warangal, all of them showing a major decline. For petrol vehicles, only 2 districts recorded a growth and all other districts saw a decline. The districts which saw growth were Rangareddy and Hyderabad. And the reason for this could be that the population in these districts could be able to afford these vehicles even when the price of petrol were at their peak. The bottom 3 districts are Jagtial, Nirmal, and Warangal, each of them showing a decline of more than 40%. Electric vehicles saw growth in each and every district. The top 3 are Khammam, Bhadadri, and Suryapet. The bottom 3 districts are Mancherial, Ranjana, and Banarparthi. One thing I noticed about Warangal is that the largest drop in sales in both diesel and petrol vehicles, but it still did not get a massive rise in electric vehicles, recording a growth of just 55%. Now let us see the top 5 sectors which witnessed the most significant investments in fiscal year 2022. The top 5 sectors are plastic and rubber, pharmaceuticals and chemicals, real estate, industrial parks and IT buildings, solar and other renewable energy, and engineering. Now let's see the top 3 districts that have attracted the most significant sector investments during fiscal year 2019 and 2022. The top 3 districts are Rangareddy, Sangareddy, and Machal Malkajgiri. Factors which could have led to the substantial investment in these particular districts could be location. These districts are located in the heart of the Telangana state. They are well connected to other parts of the state and the country through road, rail, and air transportation. This makes an attractive destination for businesses that need to be able to reach a large market. Infrastructure and economy. Telangana government is investing heavily in infrastructure in Rangareddy district. This includes the construction of new roads, bridges, and airports, as well as the expansion of the existing railway network. This will make it even easier for businesses to operate in the district and people to get around. And they are also the biggest contributors to Telangana's economy. By investing in these districts, the government can stimulate economic activity, create jobs, and boost GDP, which in turn benefits the entire nation. One thing I noticed is that Hyderabad has not received substantial investment. Let's look at the possible reasons. Economic stability. Is a strong and stable economy due to its status as a major city and state capital. Economic diversification. Diversified economic base with thriving industries. Government focus. The government may be directing investments to other districts. Now let us see if there is any relationship between district investments, vehicle sales, and SAM's revenue within the same district between FY 2021 and 2022. After analyzing the data, my answer is yes, there is a correlation. The top 3 districts with highest investments, as we have seen before, are Rangareddy, Sangareddy, and Mechal Malkajgiri. These 3 states have been amongst the top 5 in both vehicle sales and revenue. This tells us that investments are being made in these districts where revenue generated is more. The reason for this could be high investments and economic activity. Rangareddy, Sangareddy, and Mechal Malkajgiri as the top investment districts also witnessed significant economic activity. Their presence in the top five for both vehicle sales and stamp revenue indicates that these investments are closely tied to economic prosperity. Local economic impact. Investments in a district can stimulate economic growth, leading to increased vehicle sales and higher stamps revenue. This can be attributed to the creation of jobs, infrastructure development, and imposed businesses opportunities. Interconnectedness. The data suggests that district investments, vehicle sales, and stamps revenue are interconnected components of the local economy. When investments increase, it often leads to more economic transactions, including vehicle purchases and real estate transactions that generate stamps revenue. Now let us see if there are any particular sectors that have shown substantial investments in multiple districts between fiscal year 21 and 2022. Pharmaceuticals and chemicals has received 9,000 crore, which is distributed in multiple districts across the state. Plastic and rubber has received almost 8,000 crore, but is majorly invested in just two districts, Rangareddy and Sangareddy. Engineering is another sector which has received an investment of almost 3,000 crore, and it is spread majorly in five districts. Food processing is a sector whose investment is spread across almost every district evenly. Solar and other renewable energy has received 2.2 thousand crore across multiple districts. Now let us see if we can identify any seasonal patterns or cyclicality in the investment trends for specific sectors. Fertilizers receives almost all of their investments in December. This is because December is the rabi season in which many crops are planted. Automobile industry receives most of its investments in the month of January. Almost 60% of the total investments in real estate, industrial parks, and IT buildings were made in February. And the possible reasons for this could be that it is the end of the fiscal year in India in March. Some of the investors and businesses may make property investments in February to align with their financial planning and take advantage of tax benefits or deductions. Textile receives majority of their investments in September. A possible reason for this could be that festive season. September is the beginning of the festive season in India, with major festivals like Diwali and Dussehra approaching. The demand for textiles, clothing, and garments tends to rise during this period, leading to increased investments in textile manufacturing and retail to meet the festive demand. Investments in the cement industry peaked during June, July, and August in Telangana, with nearly 50% occurring in August. This trend aligns with the end of the monsoon season, allowing construction activity to resume. Cement, a vital construction material, is in high demand during this period. Investors and construction firms strategically invest in cement production to meet this increased demand as construction projects gain momentum after the monsoon season. Now let us see which are the top five districts to buy commercial properties in Telangana. Hyderabad district. It is the commercial epicenter. Hyderabad, the state capital, it is a well-established commercial epicenter with a robust economy, making it an obvious choice for commercial property investments. Areas like High Tech City, Gachibowli, and Banjara Hills are sought after by businesses. It is the global IT hub and technology hub with numerous IT parks, SEZs, and multinational corporations. This attracts businesses seeking office spaces and IT-related commercial properties. It has a diverse economy. It includes sectors like IT, ITS, pharmaceuticals, manufacturing, and services, ensuring a steady demand for various types of commercial properties. Rangareddy. Rangareddy shares its border with Hyderabad, making it an extension of the city. This proximity offers excellent connectivity to the capital city and its economic activity. Industrial zones. The districts host industrial zones and industrial parks such as Rajiv Gandhi International Airport area and the Fab City SEZ. This has attracted a significant number of businesses, creating a demand for commercial properties, including office spaces and warehouses. Infrastructure. Rangareddy has seen considerable infrastructure development, including improved road network and public transportation systems, enhancing accessibility and making it attractive for commercial ventures. Mechal Malkajgiri is strategically located to the north of Hyderabad and is part of the Hyderabad metropolitan region. This location provides easy access to the city and its economic activities. Residential development. The district has seen significant residential development, which often leads to demand for local commercial establishments such as retail shops, restaurants, and service centers. Investment potential. The district offers investment potential due to ongoing infrastructure projects and its proximity to Hyderabad's growth corridors. Sangareddy, emerging industrial hub. Sangareddy has emerged as an industrial hub due to its strategic location between Hyderabad and Mumbai. It is also part of the Hyderabad Metropolitan Development Authority. Investment friendly policy. The state government has been encouraging industrial development in the district through investment friendly policies, including incentives and subsidies for businesses. Connectivity. Sangareddy enjoys good connectivity through major highways and is located near the outer ring road of Hyderabad, facilitating the movement of goods and people. Yadadiri Bhuvangiri. Proximity to Hyderabad, making it attractive for business seeking a presence near the state capital. Its recent industrial and economic growth driven by industrial development, and it has excellent connectivity via road and rail networks which enhance accessibility. Now let us see what policies and initiatives have been employed by the government to enhance economic growth, investments, and employment. The various policies and initiatives are TSI Pass, Information Technology and ITS Policy, T-Hub, Ruitu Bandhu Scheme, and Mission Kakatiya. The impact of these policies are agriculture's growing share. The share of agriculture and allied sectors in Telangana's current price gross state value added has risen from 16.3% in 2014-15 to 18.8% in 22-23. Irrigation investment impact. The government's substantial investment of 1.61 lakh crore in irrigation projects has led to a significant 117% increase in the gross irrigated area in Telangana from 14-15 to 22-23. Tech-driven industrial growth. Innovation and technology have driven industrial growth in Telangana with 78 incubators and accelerators supporting sectors like life sciences, fintech, agri-tech, and digital. Notable startups like Darwin Box and Skyroot Aerospace have thrived, with T-Hub recognized as the best incubator in India at the National Startup Awards 2022. Darwin Box is also a unicorn company now. Impressive GSDP growth. Telangana's gross state domestic product has witnessed substantial growth, with a 155.7% increase in current prices and a 70.7% increase in constant prices from 14-15 to 22-23, according to advanced estimates. Now let's see the top 5 insights. Missing data. There's no information on Jayashankar Bhopalpali in the stamps dataset. The stamps dataset also has an entire month's data missing. There is no data for the month of September in 2021. There is also no information about Mulugu, Narayanpet and Hanumakonda in the transport dataset. Missing data could mean a huge loss for the Telangana government. Stamps cost in Hyderabad. Hyderabad generated just 67 billion, while districts which had a lower cost per document rate generated much more. Rangareddy generated 189 billion and Malkajgiri generated 113 billion. Growth in electric vehicle sales. The sales of electric vehicles have a significant growth. In 2021, 20,000 electric vehicles were sold, and in 2022, 57,000 electric vehicles were sold, which is a growth of almost 200%. The decrease in sale of transport vehicles. The sale of transport vehicles has significantly dropped since lockdown and it has not yet fully recovered. Pre-lockdown sales of transport vehicles were averaged to 19,000 per month, and post-lockdown sales are averaging to less than 10,000 per month. That's a decrease of 48%. Increase in the cost of stamps rate. The count of number of documents registers had decreased over the years. However, the revenue has significantly increased. The revenue generated through documents before lockdown was approximately 6 billion per month. At that time, e-stamps were not even introduced. After lockdown, the revenue generated through documents and e-stamps is approximately 8 billion each. Insights based on additional research. GDP growth. Since its formation, Telangana's economic growth has consistently exceeded the national average. In its first year, the state's GSDP growth was 1 percentage point higher than India's GDP growth. On average, from 14-15, Telangana has grown at a rate of 12.5%, surpassing India's average growth rate of 10.5%. Over this period, while India's GDP increased by 118.2%, Telangana's GSDP increased by 155.7%, making it the second ranked state in terms of overall GSDP growth. Higher per capita income. Telangana has shown remarkable performance in terms of per capita income, reflecting a high standard of living. Before its formation, the average Telangana citizen earned 1,12,162 rupees compared to the average Indian citizen's income of 79,118 rupees. This suggests that the average Telangana citizen earned 33,044 more rupees than their Indian counterpart. Economic growth in Telangana's districts. Rangareddy, Hyderabad, and Menchal, Malkajgiri are the most urbanized districts of the state, which account for 43.72% of the state's economy at current prices for the year 21-22. All the districts in the state achieved a positive nominal growth in their gross district domestic product. 32 out of the 33 districts achieved double-digit growth in their GDP for the year 21-22 at the current prices. Recommendation: promote electric vehicles. Charging infrastructure. Invest in the development of a robust and accessible charging infrastructure. Fleet electrification. Encourage the electrification of the government and public transportation fleets. Promote e-stamping. Incentives for e-stamping. Introduce incentives for e-stamping and continuously improve and streamline the e-stamping process. Increase the investments in industrial parks and IT buildings. Investments in industrial parks can stimulate economic growth by attracting manufacturing companies, industries, and businesses. And industrial parks and IT buildings are significant sources of employment. Invest in infrastructure development in more districts. Invest in infrastructure projects such as roads, highways, and public transportation systems in the medium and low revenue generating districts. A well developed infrastructure not only enhances connectivity but also attracts businesses and promotes economic growth. Diversify the economic base. Avoid over reliance on the powerhouse districts for revenue. Encourage diversification of the economy by promoting sectors like manufacturing, agriculture, healthcare, and tourism in other districts of the state. A diversified economy is more resilient to economic fluctuations. This will help develop the other districts and in turn increase the revenue of the state. I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to Telangana government for their support in providing the data and for their commitment to maintaining an open data policy. This access to data has been instrumental in the success of my project and has allowed me to develop deep into my research and analysis. I would also like to express my sincere appreciation to the Core Basics team for their dedication and hard work in developing this project. Thank you.